You might not know this, but the Airbnb market on the coast has been crashing out for a couple years now. There have been so many vacancies and so many empty rentals all over the coast, Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, that people are starting to freak out and they are all putting their homes and condo homes for sale. About 3 to 4 years ago, there were hardly any listings for sale under like 300,000 in Myrtle Beach, and now there's like 1,500 condos. I have a reason for this, and I'm going to explain why. And this is like my personal opinion, but I've been doing real estate for over 26 years. I am a team leader for 2 high-performing teams in North and South Carolina, and I've been watching the market steadily, and I also own Airbnbs. And this might be controversial, but I think a whole bunch of people during COVID used their PPP loan to buy Airbnb rental properties thinking they could get rich. Because remember, no one could travel, no one could go abroad, no one could go anywhere, and they had all this extra money. So they were spending it and they were traveling to Myrtle Beach and Florida and going to all these places. And the Airbnb nightly rates were skyrocketing. There was a shortage of places to stay. So what did a bunch of people do? They bought rental properties and they had no wherewithal, like no education. They did not know that sometimes when the market is bad for rental properties, that you have to carry the note, the HOA dues, the insurance, everything, the taxes for a while sometimes when you have a lot of vacancy. And I also think lenders are at fault here because they were making loans like crazy just to anyone. If you had 20, 30, 40% down, they just made you the loan. Well, so I've been talking to so many sellers and they are tired of paying the vacancy. They're barely breaking even in some cases, and people are not, they're broke. Like, look at the economy. Everybody's in a bad place. And now if you travel, you can travel abroad. You can go anywhere you want. So people aren't spending, $400 a night in an Airbnb in Myrtle Beach anymore. And it's the nicer units, the more beautiful units that are winning out on the rentals. And so if you have a crappy, junky unit that you paid all the money for during COVID, you're sitting empty. And now these sellers want to sell. They've only owned these places for like 2 or 3 years and they can't sell. They're not selling. They're just sitting. The condos here are sitting for 120, 160, 180 days and not selling. And on top of it, Myrtle Beach had a hurricane like not too long ago, which drove up all the insurance prices, and then a whole bunch of buildings had assessments due to flooding and damage. So these people are having to come out of pocket sometimes $10,000, $15,000 for an assessment, and their insurance doubled and tripled. And there's no bookings. Right now, the rate's being at, 7%-ish or 6%-ish. That doesn't mean that an investor can get that rate. You got to tack on another 1.5%. So typically right now, interest rates for other investors to buy these properties are probably like in the 8s or 9s. So there is no real push to go buy these places because investors are kind of waiting, and they're waiting for ones that they can get a deal on. They're actually out here making offers 20, 50, 100,000 less than asking. Listen, if you're an investor that can pay cash, you can get a deal. If you own these cash, you're fine because you can probably break even with the taxes and insurance and HOA dues. Or if you're going to gamble a little bit, like a lot of people do, they use real estate as a gambling vehicle, and they're investors. They don't even care about the rate right now. They're just trying to get a deal, price wise, get in there, get the loan locked in, and they're going to put it on a 5-year balloon, amortize over 30 years, and then they're just going to refinance it when the rates go down. I work with a lot of savvy investors, and I am also one of those. I consider myself, and I've been buying properties at a higher interest rate. Yeah, it kind of sucks. I'm not really making a lot of cash flow, but I'm waiting for the trend of the interest rates to go down. I will refinance later. You don't have to agree with this, but this is my strategy. I make content on here to help real estate agents, but I also want to talk about how real estate agents can use real estate for their own generational wealth and retirement. So if you like these tips, please follow and like this post, and please engage with it with your opinions.